welcome back to the channel. Day 7. So this is the final day. And what we're going to do today is we are going to make our starter the final time. It is looking really good. We're going to discard, put a little bit in the bottom. Remember, this is the most important thing. No matter how much your ratio is, make sure you're getting the same amount of water. So if you have a little bit of a majority of white flour and then a little bit of rye flour and a little bit of whole wheat flour, you're going to be just fine. Just make sure you get approximately. So what I'm showing you here is even if you don't measure, as long as you understand the consistency, you're going to be just fine. So this is what you don't want to have as your starter. It is way too thick. It's almost like hard to mix, like stir in a full circle. Add a little bit of water, little bits at a time to make sure it's the right consistency. So here's getting a little bit better, still a little stiff, still hard to get a full circle. So I'm just adding a little bit more water because I'm looking for that pancake batter. If I was to put it in the pan, I would have little bumps on the side rather than it just going into like a soup straining out completely. See how we can fully make it into a circle, but when you lift it up, it's not gonna like completely just drip down. It's kind of chunky. That's what you're looking for. So here I'm happy with this. So I'm gonna put it to the side, give it 4 hours, and then we're gonna bake with it. So I put the elastic band so that you can see how much it expands. And here we are, 4.5 hours later. So it is double and then a little bit, and it was doing the peak. So it had that little peak. We're going to do 200 grams of starter. If you're a little bit over by like 1 or a little bit under, that's totally fine. As close to 2 as you can. 202, perfect. Right here I'm doing the salt. It's going to be 20 grams of salt. So if you're into bread math, for the starter, it's 20%. For salt, it's 2%. And here we're going to do 1,000 grams of flour. So if your majority is going to be just white flour, that's totally fine. You would do 150 grams of whole wheat flour for this recipe, and the rest can be white flour. I personally like to add spelt flour and Encore flour. Those are my favorites, but it really does not matter. It will turn out just fine, as you'll see at the end. So again, as close to 1,000 as you possibly can for the grams. Always use a scale, don't use cups. You can pack it really tight with cups, or you can pack it very loose with cups, so that's just not as accurate. Now I'm putting the whole wheat flour in. So there's my 100% flour, which is 1,000 grams. And here we're going for 780 grams, which is 78%. Some people go as high as 80. I've done 80. I feel like it's a little sticky. I like how you can do art at 78. You can even go a little bit lower. This is a number you can play with depending on whether you like a crispy or you like it a little softer. This is just my favorite that I found so far. Give it a good mix. It's going to be a little hard, but that's totally fine. I mixed it up for probably a good 2-3 minutes. Don't forget the salt. I always put the salt on top just to make sure I don't forget about it. And then I set my 30-minute timer and my 60-minute timer and my 90-minute timer and then my 30-minute timer. So my 4 rounds of stretch and folds. This is after 30 minutes. I put the salt in, I give it a good mix. At this point, I don't care about killing the bubbles. So this is pulling it into the center. It's starting to come together a little bit more after that 30 minutes. With each half an hour, it'll come together more and more, and it'll look better and better. So we're going into our second 30 minutes. Again, 4 times. Pretty sure we got the finished dough. I don't know, maybe I did one more stretch and fold. So folding it to the center. And then I like to flip it over. Kind of pull it onto itself and then put it in the bowl. All right, now we're into the next day. This is our rested dough, just out of the fridge, nice and cold. Pull the centers into itself so that we get a good work surface to make beautiful cuts. So here I'm slicing side to side just to do a different pattern to see how it looks. And then it's going to go right into the cast iron Dutch oven. Then we'll place the lid on and give it a little squirt to make a little bread sauna. Opening it up, a little spritz. Set my clock, so I have a 30-minute clock and a 50-minute clock. And here is our final product. And we're going to do a little cut. This is after an hour so that it doesn't go gooey. If you don't want it to be doughy, you have to wait the hour. Otherwise, your bread will go gooey and be kind of chewy. You won't like it as much. So this is our final product after our 7-day starter. So I left it a little longer, and this is just another look, just a different angle. If you liked this content, please like and subscribe for more just like this, and comment below and let me know if you're confused about anything. Have a good day.